You can bring up your motions relative to that ruling this afternoon, or if there's a break. Hope everyone had a good 4th of July.
The usual barbecue and a softball game that reminded me that I can't run anymore.
With all the fireworks, it's my least favorite holiday.
Bring in the jury.
Cut to film workshop at Stuyvesant High School. A film on a small screen is just ending. It is a class project and the camera is shaky. We watch as a girl on the screen walks slowly away. Screen goes black, then dazzling white, then normal as nights go on. We see Mr. Sawicki, film club mentor, and 9 students who are casually dressed.
In a jury competition, the ending would have hurt this piece, but otherwise it was interesting. Any comments?
We see Steve raising his hand, looking much the same as he does in court.
I liked the ending.
I didn't say it was bad, but wasn't it predictable? You need to predict without predicting, you know what I mean? When you make a film, you leave an impression on the viewers who serve as a kind of jury for your film. If you make your film predictable, they'll make up their minds about it long before it's over.
Cut to the courtroom. We see the jurors filing in and taking their seats.
You think they look all right?
The moment we have for a jury, we have to deal with them.
Cut to Petruccelli. She stands at the podium in front of the jury. She smiles at the jurors, and some smile back.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sandra Petruccelli, and I'm an assistant district attorney for the state of New York. I'm representing the people in this matter, which you were informed during jury selection is a case of felony murder. We're here today basically because this is not a perfect world. The founding fathers of our country understood this. They knew that there would be times and circumstances during which our society would be threatened by the acts of individuals. This is one of those times. A citizen of our city, a citizen of our state and country has been killed by people who attempted to rob him. To safeguard our society, a system of laws has been created. You, the jury, are a part of this system of laws. I represent the state of New York, and I am part of that system, as are the judge and all the participants in this trial. I will do my best to bring you the facts of this case, and I know you will do your best to judge the merits of the case. Most people in our community are decent, hard-working citizens who pursue their own interests legally and without infringing on the rights of others. But there are also monsters in our communities, people who are willing to steal and kill, people who disregard the rights of others. On the 22nd of December of last year, at approximately 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 men entered a drugstore on 145th Street in Harlem. The state will contend that one of those men was Richard Bobo Evans. The state will contend that the other man who entered the store at that time and who participated in the robbery and the murder was James King.
Petruccelli points to the table at which James King sits.
Mr. King is the man sitting at that table who is wearing a brown suit and is sitting at the right of the table. You were introduced to him during the jury selection process. He is one of the men on trial here today. The purpose of the 2 men entering the store on that Monday was very simple. They were going to rob the owner, 55-year-old Algamaldo Nesbitt. We will show that although the 2 men did not have a gun with them, the owner of the store did have a gun for which he had a license and produced it to defend his property. Mr. Evans, who participated in the robbery, will testify that there was a struggle, which resulted in the gun being discharged and Mr. Nesbitt being killed. Mr. Nesbitt had every right to defend his property, every right not to be robbed. We all have that right. Further, there will be evidence that prior to the robbery, there was a plan or conspiracy to rob the store. Mr. Evans and Mr. King were to enter the store and do the actual robbery. Another of the planners of this crime was to stand outside the drugstore and impede anyone chasing the robbers. The young man who had this assignment will testify to his role in the affair. Yet another of the conspirators, the planners of this robbery that left a man dead, was to go into the store prior to the robbery to check it out, to make sure that there were no police in the store, to make sure that the coast was clear, as they say. 2 of the conspirators will testify to their understanding of this fact. The man who was to enter the store and check it out is sitting at the other table. His name is Stephen Harmon.
Cut to Steve Harmon, then close-up of the pad in front of him. He is writing the word monster over and over again. O'Brien's hand takes the pencil from his hand and crosses out all the monsters.
You have to believe in yourself if we're going to convince a jury that you're innocent.
Cut to Petruccelli.
A medical examiner will testify to the cause of death, showing that the gunshot wound was fatal. Even though it was Mr. Nesbitt's gun, it was not Mr. Nesbitt who caused his own death. This was no suicide. This death was a direct result of the robbery. Very simply put, this is a case of murder. It is, moreover, a murder committed during a felonious act. The two defendants you see before you will be shown to be participants in that act and are being charged with felony murder. Later, the judge will give you instructions on how to consider the evidence presented. But there is no doubt in my mind, and I believe by the end of the trial there will be little doubt in yours, that these two men, James King and Stephen Harmon, were all part of the robbery that caused the death of Alvin Martin Nesbitt.
Cut to courtroom. O'Brien is at attorney's podium. Cut to Steve's mother on wooden bench in the gallery area, listening intently. Her face looks worried.
The state correctly says that the laws of a society provide protection for its citizens.
Okay, hang on.
When a crime is committed, it is the state that must apply the law in a manner that offers redress and that brings the guilty parties to justice. But the laws also protect the accused.
Cut to court.
Okay. Sorry.
Room. O'Brien is at attorney's podium. Cut to Steve's mother on wooden bench in the gallery area, listening intently. Her face looks worried.
The state correctly says that the laws of a society provide protection for its citizens. When a crime is committed, it is the state that must apply the law in a manner that offers redress and that brings the guilty parties to justice. But the laws also protect the accused, and that is the wonder and beauty of the American system of justice. We don't drag people out of their beds in the middle of the night and lynch them. We don't torture people. We don't beat them. We apply the law equally to both sides. The law that protects society protects all of society. In this case, we will show that the evidence that the state will produce is seriously flawed. We will show not only that there is room for reasonable doubt, and you will hear more about that idea at the end of this trial, but that the doubt that Steve Harmon has committed any crime at all, is overwhelming. As Mr. Harmon's attorney, all I ask of you, the jury, is that you look at Steve Harmon now and remember that at this moment, the American system of justice demands that you consider him innocent. He is innocent until proven guilty. If you consider him innocent now, and by law you must, if you have not prejudged him, then I don't believe we will have a problem convincing you that nothing the state will produce will challenge that innocence. Thank you.
Cut to Briggs.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Asa Briggs, and I will be defending Mr. King. Ms. Petrocelli, representing the state, has presented this case in very broad and grandiose terms. But you will soon see that her key witnesses are among the most self-serving, heartless people imaginable. Some of them will begin their testimony by swearing that they are criminals. You will have the unpleasant task of listening to people who have committed crimes, who have lied and stolen, and in at least one instance has been an admitted, and let me emphasize this, an admitted accomplice to murder. But in the end, you will have the opportunity to judge the state's key witnesses and to deliver a just verdict.
Okay.